All right, y'all, let's get into the dollar because cash is king, baby. Cash is king. And let's tie this together because we have the king that's been crowned recently with the Corona Nation, the coronation. And we're seeing the replay of the lockdowns, the Corona and stuff in a different way, in a more physical way, okay? Before you had the red air, the red hair, the red party, the red wave, the Trump. He brought you Corona, and he was given the bow, the China bow, the elbow for the need L, the need God, and the ribbon bow, the ribbon nucleic acid, and all those little things. Y'all go back and listen to the other videos. But the spirit of these things, the invisible enemies, the world war that man lost, right? So we're going to be doing those things in a more physical way, and that's why you have the China balloons in the air. That's why you have the China in the sea with the oil derrick, and you have the China invasion with the land, and China buying up the land, and then you have the Trojan horse invasion with the land. So you have the land, sea, and air being done right now, and that's where you get the Marines, Army, Navy, and Air Force tying in to all these things that we're coming up to is where everything began, all right? And now you have Trump. He set up the Space Force. So that's setting up the foundation for the next age, okay? All right, so people didn't rise for the tyranny, for their government being taken over, for the liberty and constitution and freedoms being taken. And now they have to suffer the consequences. But what's going to happen is our nation is built on capitalism. It's built on for the love of money, which is the root of evil. So they're not going to use their guns against the government. They're going to use them against kind of the banks, okay? So when these people come up and shoot up the bank, that can be where the politician comes in and he stands in the holy place. And y'all need to leave or whatever, okay? Because when the banks close, or there can be the EMP that will be on the nation. If there's one nationwide, that will be a financial EMP. That will not be like a full-blown EMP because they need to keep you hooked up to the machine. If there's real EMPs where the whole power's taken out, that would be like in Houston where the refinery's taken out. That would be like a EMP to the nation, but they still keep you connected to the TV, all right? They have to be, if an EMP comes, like taking out a whole city or whatever, as far as the power, it would be like a localized thing, and it'd be along the coast or whatever, so the water contain a lot of that, what's going on, okay? So, either way, the EMPs will be more like your spiritual-based EMPs coming up, and then you'll get your literal EMPs like during the playoff season in 2025 when the heat of the day comes and you got to reset American or whatever else, okay? So I'm not saying the EMP won't come. It's just not, they're not going to do it in 2023 per se. It's going to be like a spiritual EMP, so that ties in your money and your finances and all that stuff, okay? Because what they're doing is they're restructuring the foreheads and they're rebuilding the foreheads, so they got to make your money go down and put the mark in your right hand and foreheads and stuff. And this is where you get the worship of his name, his number, and the mark in the right hand. And so it's all there over and over. So this green stuff, the cash, we got the green deal going. Cannabis operates on cash for the most part, these cannabis dispensaries. So this is a perfect way to take them out. That I've told y'all there's a big cannabis event coming that's going to take out the cannabis industry in a sense, either through a variant or whatever. So this cash thing can be how they do that. And then they have to restructure the scheduling, but the scheduling restructures to medical, and then it puts it in the hands of the pharmaceutical industry, and then it has to set up to recreational eventually. But the ploy is to get everybody into the hospitals first, okay? So if they do it federally, if they schedule it federally, then it opens up the pit, all right? And then it harvests a whole different type of medical industry for the cannabis stuff, okay? So that's the sea of green, and then dollars known as the greenback, and then, but that can be the thing that attacks the cannabis industry and how it creates the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma, and all the places have to close down and you have to move west or east or whatever to live, because your job is you're going back to where you came from, basically, because all these people came to certain areas or certain states to open up industries or businesses and whatever else. And it's all a bait and switch, a hook and lure to get you into the boat, to slaughter you in a way, and to make you beast, and to form you into a new type of man, okay? You have to be aware of what's going on, okay? Being in heaven, part of that's just being aware, all right? When you're in heaven, you're aware of the things going on. When you're aware, you're looking down at stuff and you're watching what's going on. You're not living what's going on, all right? I'm not tossed to and fro with these things going on in the world, all right? I'm like, bring it. Let's get on to the next age already, all right? I don't have anything in this world to hold on to, all right? Other than family and friends, I don't have any possessions that are going to be holding me back. I'm going to go when it's time to go, all right? So the liability, you have any contracts that you take with your evil deeds, with your 603 scores and 6, your credit score. These are all tied to the end times and the people getting judged, and the people, they don't repent of their evil deeds, all right? They don't grieve that they have taken all this debt, and they're being controlled by all these things and being controlled by this world and all those things, okay? They love their debt. They love their death, all right? The debt and the death are hand in hand, because once you go into debt, then you start giving your countenance over to the credit card companies or the banks or the job or whatever, and you got to make that money to pay for shit that you already got, or some of the stuff that you don't have, because some of y'all are just blowing it on whatever, okay? So it's just so your money, it's in your pocketbook, right? We got the time of Lent coming up. Your Lent, you dig in your pocket, you pull out Lent, you ain't got no cash, right? You didn't get to the bank fast enough. You got Mardi Gras coming up, or not Mardi Gras, St. Patrick's Day, I'm sorry. St. Patrick's Day, the green holiday. You ain't got green on, you get pinch, you get in a pinch, right? So these things can be happening pretty soon. Not that it's going to happen on 3/17 or St. Patty's Day, but around the week or two before or after, right? Or month after, you can see these things unfolding. You can see them cracking open, because it's the Easter, all right? There's just multiple things, all right? Going on, if you've been watching and you've been keeping up yourself and whatever else. So I've been telling y'all about the cannabis event coming. The cash can tie into that and bring in new times for that. The cop event I've been telling you, where the people rise against the cops. It can come with the banks, the pocket book, the cop kit book, all right? The cop kit book is part of your banks, and this is where the people use the guns for the wrong reason, and they rise up. The good becomes bad in a more of a literal way, and the people rise up and they go against war, and it's the Civil War in a different way, all right? So this is where you would need the fulfillment of the law, to where the military would come in and you would get the EMP that way, the electronic military police coming in. These things are just coming, folks, all right? The transaction and the trans man and the dragon, those will all interconnect soon with the banking in Florida and DeSantis and all that stuff as well. And then when you forfeit your loan, or you forfeit on the bank forfeits on you. All right, the bank forfeits on you. What's going to happen then? Well, that's when your temple, your foreheads, they're kind of broke down, and then they're going to hand you some digital currency in its place, and they're going to rebuild your foreheads that way and your temple that way. And then they can do it by giving you cash or digital. Not cash, digital currency. They're going to give you digital currency for your guns or whatever. They could work out some goofy deal where you get a couple $1,000s for your guns or whatever as far as digital currency. People go trade in the guns, and then they go buy up the guns off the shelf, and they trade them in. It's like everything the people are going to be doing is a result because the people are doing it against themselves. Well, it's your fault. It's your fault. We told you it's going to happen. Trump told you World War was coming. Trump told you this is coming. It doesn't matter who tells you or whatever, okay? Trump's just there because Trump is the Adon, the holder of truth, the Lord. We worship the Lord in truth. So right now, he came in as the capstone, as the deceiver, all right, the liar, but he's going to be shown as the truth, as the light, okay? And that's why he's going to build his foundation, and people are going to follow him, and people are going to see him rise on good and evil, but they're going to be basing their stuff on Satan worship, the right and wrong, and they're going to be taken into the heat of the day and consumed and burned up and slaughtered, all right? So the Green Deal is playing out in front of y'all. The fiat for the first cross, the AT, the fee on the one cross, that's for your fiat currencies, and trumpets are sounding for the petrodollar. And you got the debit for the day bit. The day bit is for the DeSantis, and the new day coming for the bit for the computer. And it's also the people that bit on as beastmen. They're taking that bone, right? That bony. That bony is the knee is the New York. The tiny for the New York. The NY is for the Trump man. Okay. Anyway, these are just some connections for y'all to put together a little bit of reality, because it's the tribulation of the word. And as a man, we must put away in childish things, and we must play these games that these men are playing. And you can play chess, Othello, Yahtzee, Monopoly, Life, Risk, whatever, with these news articles, and put some stuff together on your own. Okay. So cash is king. King spirits roaming around since the end of 2019 with Corona Nation, and it's coming down to lockdown man again, and it's going to lock you down in your pocketbooks. It's going to lock you down in other ways, and then eventually it will get to the variant, and that variant one will come probably at the end of 2023 when you got the symbiotic parasite that's been growing inside of you, and there's different things that's going to set it off, and you're going to get your rabies or your HIV replay and all this shit that we've been scared of. Kidnapping in the 80s. That kid is the GOAT. That's the great test of all time. The great test of all time is the new test, the COVID test for the DC, the Dawn COVID, the new time coming. It's all there in front of you, folks. Okay? You got it coming. People have taken the forbidden fruit. They're going to take the wealth. One way they can take the wealth from the old time, from the old beasts, and redistribute it back to the world is the AppRon. I assume there's probably going to be a voting app for this election, or this election will get destroyed in a sense, like from the aftermath of it, and then set up the AppRon for 2028 or whatever for the election then. But if they don't do it for 2024 or whatever, the AppRon will be for when Ron DeSantis, or during that time frame, they start making to where you can sue the pharmaceutical industries for the vaccine injuries and all this stuff. And they'll do a civil lawsuit, and it will just drain the swamp that way, okay? Because Don's going to drain the swamp out of the 10 heads, all right? And they're going to rebuild the 10 heads with some new water, all right? So that's the new currency, the digital currency, because we're going to a spiritual age. So if you're held onto the stuff that attaches to the ground, you're going to be left behind, You need to be rising up and be caught up with God and rise to your godhood, because we are the prince of the powers of the air, and we've been cast down and reclaiming our throne back into heaven.